I guess I'm pretty much a First Amendment absolutist, pretty close. I mean, I just find it wretched that once you start on this, on the road of banning, for whatever good reason, there's no going back.
Where does it stop? I mean, whose right is it? It's one of the foundations of our country is free speech. And I think when you start to take those rights away, we cease to be the great nation that we are.
The idea that we can prevent kids from taking drugs or having unsafe sex or doing anything stupid by banning books in which those things happen, I think is preposterous. I think that it's misguided on every level. Kids will always be interested in all of these things, and the only way to make sure that they don't damage themselves is to have them be more informed, not less informed.
Let the people decide, let the readers decide. And if they are shocked, if they are disturbed, if they are haunted, why is that a bad thing?
I think that at their heart, books are inherently dangerous, and thank God for that. But that doesn't mean it's okay to ban them, and I think we have to fight like hell against that. We cannot be complacent.
I want to write the truth. I want to tell kids the truth. And I haven't been afraid to tackle difficult subjects before. But I don't want to be facing Fox News. I don't want to feel like I have to defend my work. My work doesn't need defending. I'm proud of what I do.
To ban a book is, you may be making a political statement, but you're not making it right. You're not making it well. It's a bad statement to make.
As a creator of stories, as a writer, and as a fan of storytelling, it makes me really sad when someone deprives someone else of making the choice on what story they want to experience.
The thing with banned books is that democracies are vulnerable, democracies are fragile, and they're always under threat by people who are trying to nibble at the edges of what we call freedom.
We live in a country that was founded on freedoms, religious freedom, freedom of thought. I can understand how if you're a parent, you can decide that your child can only read books about celery if that's what you want. But please don't make me and my friends and my children only read books about celery. I just don't understand it.
It is absolutely critical that we be allowed to read everything, because we have to learn to understand each other. And there is so much in this world. There's so much intolerance. And I think reading everything makes you a more tolerant person, and it expands your heart.
Any decision that's made out of hatred or fear, or not an open understanding of other people's point of view that limits what you're exposed to is never going to be the right answer.
Sometimes people can't deal with actually being very honest about race and sexuality and the relationships between men and women and how a man may treat a woman. And I think so often it's because it teaches us something. When an author is very honest and it really teaches us about life, it seems like that book is banned.
Censorship is really about the notion that ideas are somehow dangerous, which they are, but they're dangerous in they can be dangerous in a very positive way. The free exchange of ideas is absolutely essential to democracy, to learning. You can't have a humane society without the free exchange of ideas.
I think also it's dangerous because that sort of prohibits writers now and future writers from really telling honest stories and feeling free to do so.
Censorship is dangerous because it gives people the right to tell you how to think. We don't want you knowing about this subject, so we're going to take all the subject matter that we can and put it away. So you don't get the choice to decide what you think about it. We're going to decide it for you.
I have less patience for the kind of self-serving, restrictive, and oppressive pinheads that want to curtail thought and actually think they can control what parts of the world are going to come into their children's lives. You can't control that, and you shouldn't want to, because the kids are going to seek it out in ways that you don't really approve of later.
Censorship scares the pants off of me. I hate the idea that something can't be out because it is offensive to one person, because a lot of times that's what it is. It's just one loud person who's louder than everybody else in the entire group, and they want this to not be heard. I find that terribly troublesome.
In the book The Giver, it makes clear why censorship is so dangerous, and it's ironic that that book is the most frequently censored of my own books. The world of The Giver, set in a future time, has no books. It has no literature. They've been removed one by one gradually over the course of many generations because it's an attempt to keep people happy and comfortable and make them feel safe. And so anything that might make people uncomfortable is removed. And there goes illness, war, anything that puts the passion into literature is gone. And so it emerges a world, a community where there is no art, no music, and no literature. That's very dangerous.
People, need to be informed, and they need to think about the issues of the day, and the way you reach that point is by reading a lot and a variety of things. So any worthwhile book which is banned, I think, sort of diminishes the pool of tools that children and older people have to develop their critical faculties.
I just think that people who ban books should be banned. I mean, what is this idea that anybody can ban a book anyway?
It's very condescending. It's very, it assumes a superior perception about what's right and what isn't for children, even worse, more so for adults, So I feel like there's something a bit tyrannical about that choice being made for us.
At the height of Goosebumps' popularity, a lot of high school school libraries talked about banning it, and there were a lot of school board meetings. But in almost every case, the school boards voted to reinstate Goosebumps and to keep them on the shelf. And I had such amazing support from librarians and reading teachers who were so happy that the kids had found something they loved to read, that they were willing to fight those parents who wanted to take them away. And that was very rewarding for me.
When books touch people that deeply, it's usually scary, and that's when people start wanting to stop other humans from reading it.
The fight against censorship is like the struggle for democracy itself. It's one of these things that it doesn't fly of its own accord. It needs to be propelled. It needs to be reinvented constantly every generation.
So if you think banning books is gone, it is happening in households all over America today, which is terrible. And sadly, it's the kids who are paying the price for that.
You just don't ban books. You don't shut off ideas.
But the world's a wonderful place, and it's filled with a lot of different opinions, and each one of them deserves to be heard.